I want you to imagine that I am a judge in America. I'm a Baptist, actually. I'm a devout religious man, as a lot of judges are. Before I start the trial, before I come in and everybody stands up and praises me, I've got to look to God. And I'll say, Jesus Christ, God, please give me strength to adjudicate fairly. In Jesus' name, God have mercy on us all. I'm ready to be fair. It's a custody battle. It is a young woman who's not married, and she has a child. Her parents, this young woman, her parents have taken her to court because they want to take custody of this child, their daughter's child. They want custody because they don't feel that the mom, their daughter, is doing a good job taking care of the kid. One of the most glowing examples that's proof that the mother is off track to them, she converted to Islam. She's a Muslim. We're Christians. This is crazy. As a Christian man and judge, I find this very distressing. And the grandparents who want to take their grandchild back from the mother, they're Christians. They're devout Christians like I am. And their daughter, who's had all sorts of problems when she was a teenager, now she thinks she's a Muslim? Okay, I'll try to be fair. This is a custody battle. Who's going to get this child? The grandparents who will lovingly raise this child as a good Christian, or this wayward young woman who doesn't even have a man in her life now and thinks she's a Muslim? Okay. God, give me strength. What? She won't swear in the Bible? Oh, yeah, she wants a Quran. Can you believe this? She wants a Quran because she's going to swear. It's got to be on her book. So tell me, folks, is this lady going to get a fair trial? This is a religious court, whether we like it or not. It's starting to look like a partial religious court. When a black man sits down in a trial, does he like to see a bunch of black faces on the jury? Or does he like to see a bunch of white men? Maybe white men in capes sitting there. You want to have the feeling that you are being judged by your peers. If I was sitting in the courthouse, and let's say I had to sue somebody who had ripped me off. The case was getting ready to get underway, and a friend of mine whispers to me, hey buddy, you know the judge and the defendant, the guy you're suing over there, they're first cousins. What? I'd say, stop. Mistrial. Let's end this thing right now. You'd have to end it. Imagine if the judge and the guy you were suing went to the same church and they both knew they were both Christians and knew you were a Jew. They were both Muslims and knew you were an atheist. Do you have a chance? Maybe I got a chance. I just don't want to take that chance. I'd rather have nobody in the courthouse know what religion I was, and I'd rather not know what religion they are, and I'd rather have a don't ask, don't tell. Do you think a religious court can really be fair? I imagine it's more inclined to be fair between two people of the same religion. But if an atheist got taken advantage of by a Muslim in a business dealing, do you think the atheist would feel safe going into an Islamic court to get justice? Tell me, I'm curious, I'd like to know. Is it fair? Will you get a fair shake? Or will the natural biases of the people that are adjudicating, will they cause it to be partial and biased? You know, I've heard Muslims say, hey, we need an Islamic court. We need Sharia law. But I'm wondering, does it really work? They have it in Saudi Arabia. How does it work there? And then someone says to me, well, it doesn't work very well because the people are unjust. Well, what about communism? Pure communism should be fantastic, but it doesn't work because the problem is, the flaw is that all of these systems are run by humans, and humans are fallible, and they get caught up in ego, and they have agendas. There is no pure capitalism, and there is no pure communism. Perhaps there's not a pure Islamic court. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe the ideal doesn't exist. I mean, if communism was great, like with China and Russia, if it really was a government for the people, and it was the People's Republic of China, and it was really run by the people, that would be beautiful. But it isn't. These governments aren't run by the people. They're run by the people who say that the government's run by the people. But they run it with an iron fist. So communism isn't what it could be. It could be beautiful. Is there an Islamic court that is fair anywhere in the world? Is there a Christian court that's fair anywhere in the world? Is there communism that's perfect anywhere in the world? Is there capitalism that's perfect, that's pure? If there's humans involved, how could there be? So my question is it fair to take church and state, that here in America we try so hard to separate church and state, is it fair for us to merge them together? What happens to the people who don't happen to be our faith when they end up in our courts? I can't imagine them getting a fair shake. If I was an atheist, I don't think I would want to have an Islamic court deciding my fate. If I was a Muslim, I don't think I would want a Christian court deciding my fate. And when I say Christian court, you say, well, there's no Christian courts in America. Hey, if the judge is a Christian and he's devout and he knows you're a Muslim and he doesn't like Muslims, you think that might shade the way? And look at this. How does this feel when everybody's swearing on a Bible? I mean, it must have started out as a Christian court. Who came up with the idea of, hey, if you get your hand on a Bible, you have to be telling the truth? I mean, to an atheist, that sounds ridiculous. So let me know what you think.